Hi, my name's Wright. I'm 20 years old and I'm type 1 diabetic. Since the age of 5, I've lived with type 1 diabetes. A lot of my close friends and family know I have this condition, but to new people, they wouldn't think anything is wrong with me. Being diagnosed at such a young age, you wouldn't think I'd known any different to having to inject myself every day and control my sugar levels, and would think it probably comes very easy, but that's far from the case. I haven't really spoken about my true feelings to many of my close friends, and probably some details I left out when talking to my family. One reason for this is that many people will find it hard to understand the constant struggles I deal with daily, and for me, the mental aspect of it is the hardest of them all. Diabetes takes a mental toll not only on us diabetics but also family members. I wanted to delve a bit more into the mental aspects surrounding diabetes and family, so I decided who better to ask than my own mother. She's been with me throughout my experiences, so I asked her a few questions about her challenges with my condition.
I was okay. I was absolutely fine, really. And I've said to you, when Harry, your cousin, was diagnosed with diabetes about 3 years later, and I found out he was diabetic, I cried all the way home when I got the news. So it was obviously the crying that I didn't do with you, really. Yeah, I've forgotten this. The anxiety I had, actually. You remember birthday parties and stuff like that? Just having to leave you. Leaving you at school was okay, and then having to leave you anywhere else, having to leave you with friends, and the mums are always really good, and what do we need to do, and this and that. It's that thing, people feel anxiety about letting their kids go, you know. And then there was suddenly that on top of it. But yeah, sticking a needle in your little girl of 5 years old, knowing you had to do that to keep her alive, and she's crying and not wanting you to do it. No, mummy, no, mummy. It's like, that was really hard, and having to sort of stay. I think I might have cried once or twice, actually, but having to. Yeah, that was really horrible. Having to hurt you and do something that was scaring you. And we used to take half an hour sometimes over it, because you'd say, not yet, wait a minute. And I mean, when you used to get upset, that was horrible. I mean, you've done that right from the start. I mean, you haven't done it lately, but
That's what I said.
yeah, you did that right from little. You'd be fine, and then you'd be, oh, I don't want this, you know. And it was like, God, as a mother, imagine how that feels when your little daughter's saying that, or your young daughter. It's difficult. I don't even really want to say that. I feel really sad that you've got it. I really do. You know, I don't want to say that. It's hard. I don't want to make it into. It's a shame. You know, it's a big responsibility for you. Do you still feel frustrated about it? Do you still? I know you said Libra makes it a lot better.
Oh yeah.
See, it hurts me. When you say that, it hurts me that you've got it. It's like.
For years I have been blocking out my diabetes. Since researching about diabetes and mental health, I found out throughout my secondary school years I had burnout for most of it. Diabetes burnout is a state in which someone with diabetes grows tired of managing their condition and then simply ignores it for a period of time, or worse, forever. For me, I would regularly ignore it by not doing a blood test or injecting, as I felt embarrassed or just wanted to fit in. I often built up emotions over months and months, bursting out crying to my mum over the fears I had if I didn't control my diabetes well. This is called management distress. I would get frustrated with myself over not controlling it as good as I know I can, and I still do struggle with it every now and then. Every day was and still is a mental struggle with my brain. I tell myself to take that blood test, do that injection, but instead I'd rather ignore it all and pretend I'm normal just like everyone else when I'm not.
It said I had a high glucose. I was at 11.6. I myself decided to ignore it because that's what I love to do. And now I've done a blood test. I'm 14.2, which is as bad as it can be, but it's not good. So
If I do not control my diabetes, it can lead to many complications when I'm older, and that is what scares me the most. I had anxiety over seeing a high reading even though I knew I wasn't managing my diabetes well. I would think to myself, if I don't do that blood test, I can't see a high blood sugar reading, and that was my way of ignoring it.
And we end the day on a high.
In many ways, I would feel awkward or embarrassed blood testing or injecting in front of people and even my friends. This is also another source of diabetes distress called negative social perceptions. For me, this was very evident as I would fear the judgment of others. I also had a fear of people thinking I was injecting myself with other substances other than insulin in public. I know it sounds silly and irrational, but it was exactly how I felt. Managing this illness is very demanding and takes a lot of time and effort out of my day. For me, I have struggled with everyday mental health conditions, which many people have also experienced. But on top of that, I have also struggled with mental aspects revolving around my diabetes. So you could say I have a double whammy. I'm not saying that this is the worst of cards I could possibly have been dealt, and I know people are worse off than me, but my struggles are real. Every day was and still was a mental struggle with my brain. Having diabetes is scary, and often I feel very alone with how I feel. However, I want to let others know who live with this condition that they are not alone, and it does eventually get better. I've found with advanced technology in the diabetes world, such as the Freestyle Libre, which I now have, has helped me very much with my daily battles with my brain. I've also come to accept that I do have this condition and I need to control it better for a more fulfilled life in the future. I'm not saying that I don't ever get burnout anymore or don't still feel awkward doing my injection in front of people, but I've seen major changes in the way I control my diabetes and my mindset towards it.